Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of Cafe Chronicles. My name's Dan, and on this episode of the KZ750 budget build, we're going to take a look at all of this awfulness sitting on top of the handlebars, and we're going to fix it. This is our lovely magnetic pickup that'll replace our speedometer. Thank you for the flimsy mounting brackets. And then a gauge so big, you could turn your head around and still see it out of the corner of your eye.
I like it.
This might hurt me more than it hurts you.
So on this side here, this was the cable that went into the back of the tach. And in the tach, you had the oil light, you had a backlight to illuminate it, and then the tach itself was from a drive. So you might look at these wires and say, why the hell do they need so many wires? The reason why is, these here are for the two lights. So you've got a brown and white and green and yellow for the ring light, and a brown and white and green and yellow for the backlight. And then here you've got your brown and your blue and red, which is for the oil light. And that's on the tach side. So what we're gonna really, the only thing we need from this side is the oil light, which is what we believe those two there, which is the ground and the blue and red. And really we don't need the ground because it's a common ground in the new gauge, right Dan?
Correct.
So really all we need out of these, like what, 6 wires is just that one wire, we believe. We have to check this with a multimeter, make sure, but it's what we believe.
It's our story and we're sticking to it.
Then if we have a look at this side over here, I'm gonna try and keep out of Dan's way while he's soldering. These wires here, these are the ones that were going to the speedometer, and you can see that there's only 4 wires and it's a set of 2. If we have a look at the actual speedometer, we can actually see that the only thing that's happening on the speedometer is there's a drive which is coming from the wheel, so that takes no power, and then you've got the backlight and ring light, so 2 lights in there. So those cables, again, they're just bringing power, that's it. So there's nothing that we actually need from the speedometer side to our new cable. What Dan is doing at the moment is he's putting all the grounds that were coming from the center here, he's tying them all together and he's bringing one ground to our new unit. And the reason why he's going to the trouble of connecting them all is that in some cases those grounds need to be connected because they're circuits. So it's just safer to connect them all. So next up, Dan is going to try and get some constant power to the new gauge. So he's going to take from the central little pack of wires here that was on the KZ750, he's going to pick off a constant accessory power, and he's going to just try and roughly connect it to the one that we can see on the instructions from the gauge that's looking for power. And we're going to just turn on the ignition, and we're going to see, one, if the new gauge lights up. It should. If it does, next thing we're going to do is just check everything else. We're going to check our lights or turn signals or brake lights, maybe even try and just kick over the bike just to make sure it's going to run and everything for us. And if everything's good, he's just going to tape up then all the positives so that they stay out of the way, and then we'll start going wire by wire to try and set up each component on the gauge. Sorry that the lawnmower's gone. You guys are probably used to it now.
I can hear myself think, oh God!
Okay, moment of truth. Dan's gonna start getting some power going here.
Zap!
Turn signals are all flashing like crazy. They're all on. And the gauge is on. So, some craziness going on. Oh, is the red... Do you have the hazards on? Yeah. It was the hazards. Nice. Okay, so turn signals are working. The other one. Okay, try the back. Turn signal's good. Turn signal's good. Try the... Yeah, hazards are on. They look cool. Try the brake light. Nice. Okay. It's out of gear, we think. Dan's gonna just try and make sure the starter's... Yep. Good. So, I think that's a win. So now we can move on and we can start one by one giving this gauge what it wants. Jeez, that sounded dirty.
So we're trying to work our way through the instructions here because this 6-pin here lists the color and then it lists a number, and I was hoping that it just referred to the number up here of what it connects to, and that was going to be really easy because you don't need words at that point, because I don't know what an and white is that I'm supposed to connect it to.
That's your problem, Dan.
Or turn left to light. But looking through, we don't need 15 different wires. So it looks like the 6-pin here is for gear indicator. If you have a bike that has a gear indicator to know what gear that you're in. We don't have that luxury from 1980, so we just get to tuck this out of the way along with a whole bunch of other wires that we no longer need, and we're only working off the 9-pin, which is going to be fantastic news for us. Keeps it simple.
Through a little bit digging around, we found that on the main, what's a 9-pin, Dan, for the gauge here, we found that the orange gives us left turn signal. So we went to our main cluster here on the KZ750 and we found the solid green, which we know is the right turn signal power, and we brought that up and tested it with the orange signal, turned on the little ignition and that, everything turned on and worked okay. So we're gonna wire that up and we should have, pretty soon, we should have right turn signal light on the gauge relative to the observer.
Yes.
Dan and I are getting into relativity here.
I'll say the workmanship on the bike has really gone up since we stopped smashing 3 beers per episode.
I don't know, I liked it. So Dan is going to test out. Oh, right turn signal, there it is. And left turn signal is working already. And he's going to go ahead and solder it into place. I know this is kind of overkill, it's a little bit boring. You guys might hate the detail we're going into here, but we're doing it because when we started looking online, it was kind of hard to find really somebody can give it a concise overview of how the hell to figure this crap out. So hey, this is not the best way, this is not the way, this is a way. So Dan has found neutral on the KZ harness here, and he's going to test it out now on the pins to try and figure out which one it is, right, on the clock down.
It should be pink.
It should be in neutral already, right? Oh, stop.
Did not like that.
No. There's smoke still. Turned off. There we go, neutral, nice. Okay, so Dan has found neutral here. And it was on the separate little plug for the gear shifter. Dan's gonna wire that one up first.
Happy for me, we got 2 we can do real quick. So folks, unfortunately we're a little out of time for today. Wiring up that gauge took a lot of time, a lot of effort, and I think I understand now why a lot of the other YouTube series don't show you installing it. It takes a lot of boring work just matching up wires, soldering them together. We thought we blew it up for a second there. There was some smoke coming out of the back of it, but we got that sorted. Everything seems to be working just fine. Now, mind you, we still need to hook up the speed sensor. We still need to hook up the tach reading for the electric signal off the back. We weren't able to get to the tach cable today. We need to muddle around with how we're going to get this sorted on our front wheel. And then we're going to need to muck around with how we're going to get this positioned on our lovely bike. So there's a couple more things that we need to wrap up before we can get this thing safety ready to rock, ready to do some video logs. Now, one thing that's left on the agenda is the side covers, and Steve and I are a little bit torn on what we should do for design, fitment, things like that. So if you guys have any ideas, any suggestions, we'd love to hear them. Drop them in the comment box below. Thanks for sticking with us. Stay tuned. Don't forget to like and subscribe. What should we do about side covers on this bike? Oh, I guess I'm going to be waiting a while. Let me know as soon as you have a thought. Until next time, stay safe.